see.
Looks like AL won a counter pick.
Multiple
wait, no,
bans.
AL won a first pick. They won a first pick. So
Yep.
AL first pick, TES blue side. AL, of course, given the loss, had first choice, so they took first pick. They banned Silas, which prompted a Malphite ban. What are you looking at here?
Zin. Yep.
Win now.
You looked at the jungle bans. Malphite and Jace have always been banned on the table, but the early Vi ban signified that that is the next best skirmisher, and that is available. No Pantheon, no Jarvan, no Wukong either. So now Tarzan gets his hands on the best remaining skirmisher in the game. Aphelios being locked in, kind of preemptively answering the fact that Yunara was already drafted in game 1. Renekton taken for 369, but Flandre Gnar could be a solid response.
I think this is Gnar or Cassandra. Now, we haven't seen Flandre on Gnar yet this year, but we've seen a lot of Gnar into Renekton, and Renekton has not been a very successful champion so far in this early season.
Quick swap.
Now, that's interesting because this is technically flexible, and the only Aurora played by AL so far was played by Flandre. So, I'm curious to see if he actually ends up wanting to take this one into the Renekton, or if they just lock down the Gnar here. I'm keeping my eyes on Bard. Bard has been denied in the second round of bans the first 2 games on the side of Top Esports, but will not be the case.
Right,
Said to be a blind Cassio. Whoa.
Oh, the hand is revealed now for anyone's Legend solo laners. I thought they would try to use that power of the flexibility of the Aurora to try and keep Top Esports guessing on who was going to be playing into the Aurora and try to bait out an early mid lane pick. Top Esports trying to decide what they want for Creme. This would be a pretty decent answer into the Cassiopeia to play long range, but I think the CC from the Scatter of the Week is what Top Esports are hoping for in being able to reset fights.
Yeah, it does the same thing. I think Syndra is a little bit stronger right now. I thought Hui was viable too, and a pick that Creme historically has actually played pretty well. But will be the Syndra, so this is quite bursty. You're looking at potential scatters into Aphelios R's, depending on the gun that you have. That could be a very bursty combo up against AL that, at the moment, Xin Zhao and Cassio can play decent defense. Xin Zhao, of course, has that Crescent Guard. Cassio does get quite tanky with her build, which I will be interested to see what Shanks does go for in the early season, because I feel like you have options that don't require Roa plus Seraphs. I think that build at times can be too slow for Cassio. So curious to see what Shanks ends up doing in that mid lane, as we just see Thresh taken away as the Aphelios pairing, and then no Jinx for Hope, which I did mention that in being played in the Aphelios previously, but also specifically with Hope. That is probably his best, and he plays Jinx with this team very well. That was a champ they really leaned on in some late.
We'll see what ends up being Hope's answer now that multiple AD carry options are gone. A good snipe for the Qiyana, as even though she's not necessarily the same class of champion as Xin and Vi, powerful assassin that can skirmish pretty darn well, and she clears the jungle relatively fast, being able to hit that relatively cheap spike on Profane Hydra and Axiom Arc. Top Esports are contemplating of blinding their support to give NaiYou a counter pick option.
We'll seen a couple games in Not Jungle. It's worth noting over in the LCK. But Aphelios not pretty stock standard.
Oh,
pairing.
Like recently?
Yeah,
recently?
like this season, like this patch, yeah.
My Not Jungle's finally hitting the rift. Oh my goodness.
I don't think that's the case this game, but we will see. I think that it could be an option, just one that
Why did no one tell me Nautilus Jungle was being played globally?
Because no one wants to play it with you, Mark. It's a free loss if we do.
Screw you, dude. My Nautilus Jungle was cooking, man.
It's probably
you
bot.
guys fed.
It's probably bot now, given that we have the Rakan. Nautilus has the positive matchup there.
If you go for something bold like the Viego, I would be a happy camper. Is there enough burst damage on this Top Esports roster set up for the resets with the Unleashed power? The answer in Top Esports eyes is correct. Wow. So off of quite a impressive performance from NaiYou in the face of Tarzan in Game 2, they are giving him the keys to the kingdom and saying, NaiYou, we trust you. Go big, king. Let's see how well you can ruin Tarzan.
Top's comp, very early game bias. If this goes late, Casio gets too tanky to kill. Xin Zhao gets tough to kill with the Crescent Guard. Even Aurora, Rakan can be slippery. I think Sivir is controllable in this game. When it comes to Sivir, a lot of the times, like talk about this champion, how much or how easy is it for Sivir to be able to auto attack? That's going to be challenging this game. You're going up against a Syndra that has scatters. Aphelios, depending on what guns he has, can really help control Sivir. I think specifically Purple Gun, you add a lot of threat against Sivir, who is likely going to be looking to spell shield a scatter or a depth charge. Well, if that happens, you have access to Graviton that can be quite big for Aphelios sometimes. So I want to see if top can really take this early game or run away with it, because we have seen AL get the best of them in the first 2 early games. Even if top esports is able to turn around at the last grubs for the last game. I think it's very important to top get off to a good start and play quick and are able to finish this one quickly before you get the Casio and the Sivir that get too many items where you get problems that emerge later on for top's comp.
I mean, even with the scaling option from Anyone's Legend, it seems like when Anyone's Legend do not have control of the mid game, these past 2 games, it has been a bit questionable, even when they were ahead, to close out the game in a succinct manner. So top esports, even though going the full distance, are feeling a lot of momentum on their side. Let's see how it all unfolds in Game 3. And the roars of the JiaQi
benefits top. Because you can't reset after trades like that anymore. And it's D-Shield Croc versus Aurora, who is burning both pots. That could be good for Croc. Could be good for 369 up there on the top lane.
Early Ignite onto Hope just to make sure that he doesn't capitalize on the setup from Kael and take an extra chunk out of Fengyue's health bar. Nice presence of mind to just make sure that the all-in on the level 1 is not as devastating as it could be. It's a good point that you made, though, about top lane. We'll see if later on the Renekton for 369 is able to sustain back up to full, or if Flandre will have control of this wave until a proper reset happens.
Ooh, we do have Shanks taking the Ghost in this game on the Casio. So you don't have the move spell, movement like Summoner or ult that we see Talia Rise have, right? Where you can have an impact globally. So we'll be down TP in that map control later on, but Casio can really abuse Ghost. Again, a bit of a range-gated champion. Really helps you cheat your way out of ganks sometimes too. So interested to see how much you can pick up here. I mean, this is good product placement given what NaiYou has. And NaiYou has a red buff. If he finds Tarzan here, this could be a positive trade for Viego.
Tarzan does spot him. And the
NaiYou botched it a bit. Yeah.
Yep. W does go wide. Tarzan's going to at least respect the presence of NaiYou here. But this could be a smite fight. Yep. Watch for 600. 800, he dashes in. Tarzan wins the flip, and now NaiYou's in a world of trouble. NaiYou, even if he flashes away, I don't think he gets out alive. The flashback in? No way, they win it! Oh my goodness, NaiYou, with the help of Creme, turned the 2v1, and that's first blood for the Viego. Now 2v2 all in. Fengyue flashes over the grand entrance. Kael is about to get dropped by JiaQi, but not before Hope is able to take a bite out of Fengyue's health bar. JiaQi with purple and blue guns isn't enough to overturn the fight. Hope with the barrier, looks for one more boomerang play, barely misses, but one more on attack gets the job done.
I mean, sadly for NaiYou and top esports, the fact that Hope has 2 kills bot is far more dire than what was a pretty sweet outplay from NaiYou in the top side. Flashing into that brush to break the vision. I see Tarzan has the sweeper now. I don't think he had a ward up because he used the trinket ward in that red buff brush, which NaiYou would have seen. So that's a pretty calculated and very sweet play coming out of NaiYou there.
I was sweating a little bit for Hope. Didn't know when the dredge line was coming back off cooldown, but look at the fight again.
So Tarzan wins this. Nice combo with the Wind Becomes Lightning, but you can see the wards dropped in that brush. NaiYou's, I believe he spotted Tarzan's ward down. Yeah, I saw both be spotted, so he knows that there's no ward here where Tarzan could just fire it in. And they chained up the stuns really nicely. That's good communication and a nice 2v2 coming out of Creme and NaiYou. Now on the flip side, you can see Graviton being used here. Spell Shield goes sideways, and they get a great trade on the Kael. I think Fengyue might want that flashback, because I think that if I'm him, I probably want to flash into the blush immediately instead of off to the side. Big difference just being that as this evolves, Hope was able to brute force with the barrier, with the lethal tempo, and just beat the Aphelios in the all-in. So, bit of a... It was a sweet outplay on the top side for NaiYou, but again, doesn't really matter when you're going up against a Sivir that has 2 early kills on the bot side. That's pretty concerning for top.
That's the theory for anyone's legend, but depending on how well Top Esports can leverage this small advantage for NaiYou, since it was only first blood, he has yet to get a base off, but he has cleared at least 1 full rotation and 2 additional camps. He comes back, looks like he's just going to go down the Trinity Force route with the Phage start into the rest of the subcomponents. So this will make him a little bit more durable, but less overall damage. If you're a fan of Electro, one of the more prolific Viego streamers, he's definitely a big fan of the all-in solo queue build, but NaiYou being a little bit more safe.
Monkey also a fan of the Kraken, as he's a common Viego player that we have. Do want to highlight, I missed this in the replay, JiaQi went Ghost. So no access to barrier might have been the difference in that 2v2.
Looking for Hope right now. They know he does not have flash. They proc the spell shield early so that Viego's stun could connect, but they don't have enough damage to follow up on the play. And Tarzan committed to the dragon, secures it, and now he's ready to turn the fight if necessary. Creme forced to use the Scatter of the Week just to keep Shanks at bay. Top Esports don't find anything in the trade.
Dragon does go over to AL throughout that, and again, Viego from behind, or Viego without clean engages, you're a bit of a different champion. You're very reliant on finding that first kill in a fight in order to, you know, play out the game the way you want to play it out. Most of Viego's kit is in his R, in his passive, not in the rest of his buttons. You need to steal other champions for that. So if you can't get those early kills, gonna be issues.
Is he gonna flash over this Raptor pit wall? No way, right?
Not get that.
Well,
he doesn't have flash. He doesn't have flash build. I like where your head's at though. That would have been chaotic.
I guess he does not have Hex Flash. Damn, that's a shame.
You know, LPL stealing the classic Kevin Garnett phrase, "Anything is possible" for this year's.
Holy 369 with the preemptive flash.
That was not good.
Yeah. Flandre says, "Okay, you pop flash
but we're setting up for
ulti." But NaiYou now is in the wings, and Flandre does not have ulti, so he's going to have to time this flash perfectly on the W. Goes invisible with the W. The patience, not enough, but Kael's here to turn the play! Oh boy, NaiYou comes up tails, and he might be flipping burgers if he gets run down by the rest of anyone's legend here. Shanks pops the ghost. He's ready to run down this Viego and ruin this king. He goes back in, tries to turn it for a reset, but it ain't happening anytime soon. The snake sinks her fangs into Viego.
That is really, really good recognition from Kael, who walked to respond and now can TP back to lane, or can TP back to the grubs that are about to spawn. As Tarzan's making his way up there, and I mean, NaiYou is kind of out of the game now. After it feels like the first play hit, the second play was nothing, and that third play was a giant loss, as Tarzan is almost level 7. NaiYou will hit 6 off of these Krugs, but no chance that he can actually contest the grubs, as his team just doesn't have the tools to do so. Kael gets to stay on this side of the map. He's matching Fengyue. Everything's A-okay here for AL, and yeah, I could see what 369 was thinking with the ult into the chunk, but I think that when the Cole the Meek misses, it kind of runs out of gas after that. It felt like a big chunk missing into Flandre, and Flandre did play out that sequence rather well with the Aurora top.
Fengyue is here early just so that they have a chance to get some information down on anyone's legend before the grubs are started. It buys enough time for NaiYou to at least hit level 6, but like you called out, Tarzan, level 7. An advantage over this Viego. 369 is the first one to collapse in, but everyone else from anyone's legend is giving space for now.
Do you think AL missed out on their window a little bit? Tarzan did go for the full clear, so now ults are back up, tools are back up, whereas if they went for the grubs right on spawn, that minute makes a big difference. It would have meant no 6 for Fengyue, and it would have meant a big double advantage for Tarzan while he was up there, but he was staying committed to clearing bot to top. So they're going to drop the grubs. I don't think that Grubs are... They're going to focus on the Dragon. I think that given the timers that we have now, I'd be a little bit surprised if top does contest this Dragon coming up. I'm okay with that trade for AL if I get the first 2 Dragons for the 3 Grubs. I don't think that the comp for top can punish with 3 Grubs a lot unless they're winning fights into taking those turrets, right? So it's like I don't really see Renekton and Syndra getting a ton of side lane time, you know?
Yeah, you don't have the most adept split pushers in your solo lanes right here. And JiaQi is not a super long-range marksman that can hit towers safely from afar. Nice. As anyone's legend, going to take this time off the reset to, once again, be the first ones to start clearing out their camps. I was expecting there to be a chance for either jungle or support from anyone's legend to try and aggressively invade, get some vision control down. I think the farthest ward I see on my minimap is just in that river entrance, so at least the pocket from where top esports will be entering near mid-side will be seen, but there's still about 20 seconds before the dragon spawns, and Tarzan is making sure that he is maximizing his gold. I wonder if he can get Sundered Sky off of this Raptor camp.
Likely. I gotta say,
it would be late to the dragon.
This is the first time I've seen Cassio in the new season, and it's really messing with my head that she has Merc Treads right now. Unironically, that really changes this matchup for Cassio into the Syndra, because this is a classic counter, but you want Merc Treads going into Syndra. It decreases the scatter time, and if you don't have Merc Treads, it's very easy for a Syndra to chain the QW. Like there, you can see Shanks was able to step out of that Q coming in after the scatter. And the move speed buffs that he gets, like the percentage scaling, it's quite significant. I think that's why he won Ghost probably too.
Tarzan does secure it, but look at this. Trinity Force available for NaiYou. The first reset is going to come in soon. He can get a chance to possess the Xin Zhao. JiaQi tries to run him down, looks for the Gravitum setup, looking for Kael next. Heartbreaker comes in. That's 2 for NaiYou. And even though anyone's legend get the dragon, they play to the strength of their Trinity Force spike, and NaiYou delivers.
LDL MVP NaiYou steps up with top esports there. I want to credit JiaQi too with how he set up that play for NaiYou with the Gravitum. We're really seeing JiaQi use the Gravitum, which I like against Sivir, can help you control this matchup. This was played really well by top. Fengyue, this engage into Tarzan is freaking sick. He flashes over, combos the Shane with the depth charge and the dredge line. Also finds the Rakan as Kael makes a bit of an oopsie there trying to protect his jungler. Ends up catching the depth charge as well. JiaQi then with the Graviton. It enables NaiYou to continue the chase, and that's a huge win for top esports. So yes, the Dragon does go over to AL, but a great win for NaiYou on the back half, who played this out really well off a great engage from Fengyue as well.
This composition is built to let NaiYou thrive, and now he's found hope. With no summoner spells, this should be an easy pickup. One more breather of the Ruin King, but Tarzan flashes in, but the rest of top esports are ready to bail him out, and now Tarzan has overcommitted. Top esports are starting to run away with the game.
That was a risky one from Tarzan. I didn't exactly see how that play initially was set up, but going in to save your AD there, I mean, Tarzan gave away his life trying to save Hope. And that lead that Hope had where he was up with the 2 early kills, it's gone completely to the wayside. That's another kill, by the way. Kael is probably going to go down. JiaQi. Ooh, okay. Lock comes in. Shield. Yeah, JiaQi was not able to chase. Had red-white. Do not fight tag was up. Uses that to melt the turret. And top esports, 3K gold lead here. Raafaa looking for the upset.
It still comes back to how the dragon fight erupted. You could see that even though anyone's legend were the first ones to set up the play, top esports still believing in that Trinity Force spike that NaiYou was able to pick up for himself, speeding through the last couple of camps before that objective did spawn. This is now setting him up almost 2,000 gold ahead of Tarzan's curve.
Anything is possible, baby.
Yep, anything is possible. And boy, oh boy, this evolution for top esports could not have come at a better time as we are closing out our first round robin for Group Ascend.
I mean, JiaQi and NaiYou have big leads here. And I think those leads are important as this game goes on. Who am I going to favor? This game goes probably post 30. I'm going to favor AL still. The Cassio, the Sivir, the move speed that they can put onto Shanks' Cassio. I'm really interested to see how fast Cassio ends up going with a passive later on. Between Sivir ult, between Ghost, between Merc Treads and the new passive in this season, it could be pretty extreme for Shanks. And interested if like he can hit critical mass on move speed where, you know, scatters, where dredge lines don't really become his concern. I'm quite curious about that. I haven't seen a lot of Casio in this season.
Yeah. I'm gonna divert your attention a bit. I don't know what your philosophy is on when you have like a carry jungler and they're ahead of the curve. If you would rather see them build more damage, like NaiYou's going with the collector second item, or if you would rather see them build defensively so that they can protect this lead.
Damage. You need resets. It's collector time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, get the dopamine. Yeah. Make sure you can at least try and connect. As AL, I mean, there's not really much on the map for AL to do right now. They're completely sacking this Rift Herald. So Tarzan makes his way down here, and they do push out the Renekton a little bit. 369 in his 701st game in his LPL career. On his classic Renekton. His job's to hold the line this game, Raafaa, and he's going to be behind a little bit, but I still think he can do so.
A little bit of pocket sand in my eye. I'm not sure what the dredge line was, or maybe it was something that wasn't aware of, but it's all good. Top Esports pushing in through the top tier 1 turret. Anyone's Legend do get a chance to at least break a turret on the bottom side of the map here. Does make things even more difficult for Anyone's Legend. They are still down 3,000 gold. NaiYou will not get a chance to yoink this big chicken nugget away from Tarzan.
I think if I'm AL, getting evolved Seraphs on Casio and getting 3 items on Sivir are probably my 2 really big moments. I will say that getting away Soul Point to AL with a Casio Sivir comp, I find to be quite dangerous.
NaiYou, you're gonna have the heartbreak, but he still gets charmed by the quickness, forced to flash away, and it's a big disengage that comes out from Top Esports. But now that is a Viego without flash, so the next time he goes in for a play and Heartbreaker does not connect, it better be a reset or it's a one-way trip back to the fountain.
Yeah, I don't like that last sequence for Top. I think that giving away that dragon was a big oopsie. Because, again, this is Sivir Casio. They can scale forever. Like, I was about to talk about how AL sitting on 2 dragons is great, because they might be able to drop some dragons and find gold elsewhere and use that to kind of, you know, close the gap, give up a couple of those. You just gave away a free Infernal Drake. Would have been huge for your team for, I think, negligible pressure in the top side and the turret that could have fallen later on. So I know the Rift was late. I feel like Top need to go back and look at that one and reprioritize that we have to be to this dragon on time. Because now at any point you're going to give Sivir Casio a potential Infernal Soul. That's not good. And you're going to delay your own ramping up of the dragons, which Top could have done given the strength that we think they have on the map right now, given the lead they have and the champs that are available to them.
It's a big gamble from Top Esports now that Anyone's Legend.
It's not even a gamble, though. I didn't get anything for it, you know? Like, it's just an L.
Anyone's Legend now have a solid win condition to play for in the next 4 minutes. Meanwhile, 369 into 1v2 was trying to engage on the Flandre. Double slice and dice away, but Tarzan has the audacious charge to flash for 369. Not sure how he was getting out of that play anytime soon. Rest of Top Esports, at least cross-map, looking for the tier 1 turret, but I'm scratching my head on that one.
I mean, 369 did a nice job of buying time. Probably doesn't have to flash. So I think that's a fair criticism, but his team did win across the map. So yes, he goes down, but they get the bot out of turret for themselves, and Flandre is not going to get too much up here. Keep in mind, AL don't have any grubs. And Creme should answer. So, I think that's still okay. And a nice trade. Oh, we're running it again. Hey,
no, Niall's not even on the Exalted Ruin
reminder,
skin.
Hang on, as a reminder real quick, esports and skin sales, the correlation, I don't really know if there is one between those. You know, we don't know.
Listen, it would make sense that if NaiYou had the Exalted Viego skin, but they're... Why not? well,
I'm
okay,
being very sarcastic and facetious.
Oh, okay. You made me second guess myself, but it's
That was the goal. That means
we're
having
not even
fun.
on the patch yet. Yeah, we're
That
not
means
even
we're
on the
having
patch
fun.
yet.
Well,
That's true.
it's out live, and the patch is in 2 days. So that's fine.
Okay.
It beats the gotcha ads. Oh.
Oh, Flandre clipped by a nice scout of the week from Creme. Yeah, good night to the Bunny Witch Girl. And top esports now 5-4 on the map for the next, I want to say 35 seconds for death timers at this point in the game. There's a Dragon Soul for anyone's legend coming up in about a minute and 30 seconds time. So this will deny the chance for anyone's legend to establish vision control. They're dashing on to Creme. He already lost the Edge Veil or the Banshees. Forced to flash away what could have been a collapse from anyone's legend.
A Dragon Soul might be spawning, but given the real estate of bot jungle and the economy of this game, I think this Dragon Soul for AL is going to be like looking up mansions at Zillow that are 5,000 miles away from you and, you know, dreaming about what could be. I don't think this Dragon's going to them. I think Top's going to do everything in their power to make sure they can knock this one down. But hey, that said, AL, that top outer turret's standing for them. They can go up, trade that, try and get at least something for themselves when they give away this Dragon. But I don't think they should take this Dragon at all.
Do you remember we used to do that for fun when we were living together in LA? We would just kind of look at the property prices around us and be like, how expensive are some of the houses around here? Oh, the Palisades and whatnot.
There's a lot of things that I could get started on about the inability to afford a home out here in USA, let alone LA, where you know, you can buy a square that's at risk of landslides for like $800K minimum. And you know what? That property is going to go up in value throughout your entire life. It's probably going to be a good investment, you know, unless it goes underwater. But that's
tough world out here. Anyone's legend now propping an early teleport from Flandre so that he can get in position for this Infernal Soul.
Why did Top put so much time and resources into the top side when this Soul is spawning and they're the stronger team? That is a bit perplexing to me. They're late on this, and AL is going to be able to hit it.
369 forced a TP, even though he wasn't even that far away. He just needs to be here for the play. Dredge line goes wide. Good use of miasma from Shanks to keep space right now. A lot of ultimates being exchanged at the moment. Quickness to hold the line. All three members get charmed. The first reset does not go through. NaiYou cannot get into the pit. And it's looking like anyone's legends fight to run. NaiYou forced to bail. Nobody drops from anyone's legend. I see the facepalm from Cubby in my monitor. And you know just exactly how this fight went down.
We're talking about how that you should be enabled to fight this dragon. And Top deployed everyone on the top side, gave up control for AL for the embankment rush, and then the fight like on the way in. I mean, keep in mind they have the lead. I think that the trigger that Fengyue pulled on Kael was A, wrong, and B, Kael played and baited this one beautifully. When we get the replay, I want you guys to look at Kael, but the fact that Top didn't invest into actually controlling that side of the map is a fundamental issue that Konami would have never allowed, all right? And they need to figure out this one. Keep your eyes on Kael here, guys. This depth charge, it does come down onto him, and he baits this one beautifully. I just really want you guys to focus on how Kael played this fight. First off, he probably should be depth charging the Rakan. I know it's nice to cancel, but does bait in. Fengyue gets out after getting the depth charge, then the re-engage in. I know the W misses, but the flash get double quickness, hold him back in. Creme and JiaQi could not play the fight after that. Beautiful fight from Kael. That's textbook Rakan play right there. Eating cooldowns, baiting, buying time, finding the re-engage, being slippery. Kael played that beautifully.
I think you could see how desperate everyone from Top Esports was to try and find one kill, one reset to prop up NaiYou for the rest of the fight. But even with JiaQi flashing in, NaiYou, I think, already bailed out in the fight, saying, yeah, there's no way we can get in now. And Infernal Soul has been secure for anyone's legend with a Baron buff on their side, and the semblance of any advantages that Top Esports had off of the miraculous flips and the genuinely good plays that they had against AL in the first half of this game. It's all been erased.
Yeah, I'm now at the point where I want to see how fast this snake can go. With the boots, of course. We need to Photoshop the snake on with boots. And it can be like the new Baron feet theme that we used to have.
There's a snake in my boot.
You know,
I didn't.
I think Toy Story is probably a top 3 trilogy of all time. Like,
True.
in
Any
our
truers in chat?
those 3 movies are so good.
Yep. Not a single miss.
No, well,
now-
unless Toy Story 4. I'm with Quentin. I stopped
that doesn't
watching.
count. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Stop watching.
Anyway, Flandre gonna lead the charge alongside Kael with the quickness. First one is the target on to Fengyue, and poor Creme is forced to flash away. Tarzan picks up 2 in an instant, and the rest of Top Esports, this reset composition, the fantasy for NaiYou is starting to crumble, just like his late wife, and unfortunately for anyone's, or Top Esports, oh, man, that was a little dark.
Oh, we may not be able to cast again after this one, Raafaa. It's bad.
It's lore. Hang on. It's Fiego lore. It's Fiego lore.
It is. You're gonna ruin the Ruin King just like that again?
They ruined themselves, man. I don't know what else to say. Shield Bow is coming up soon, but I don't know if it's gonna turn this game around.
Oh, great. I mean, Fengyue tried to catch the engage from Kael, but JiaQi burned his sums in the last fight. Being down sums as a Felios is a tough task, especially when you're behind. We're going to reset on the map, and we might get an Elder spawn before a Baron spawn for this one, Raafaa. That's... feel like Smolder's mom's entering the rift now.
For anyone's legend, it's a pretty massive gold advantage at this point. They've done incredible amount of work sieging into structures. They haven't broken open the base yet. So, and here's the thing with Viego compositions. Very, very similar to the slogan for any LPL. Anything is possible. I legitimately think that if you just find one reset fight, it's always winnable with Viego compositions. I know that things look dire and it's quite hard to do, but if Top Esports somehow pull a miracle, it would not be the most surprising thing in the world.
Did you say about Viego's life that he might have 99 problems, but a chick ain't one?
I didn't push it. Hey, when the admins go back and review this cast, I didn't push it.
We have a minute to Elder. We have a minute to Elder. Let's hop on in. We're gonna see if we can get any sort of control on this bot side. I don't think Syndra can get in here, and I think the Top
we need to get a
Esports...
control in the cast. It's partially my fault too, but oh boy, let's lock in.
We'll lock it in. Kael, he's doing a nice job holding on. I do like the line that AL's drawn up here. Again, I just don't think the Top Esports have any way in, as this Cassio's gotten too big, the Sivers gotten too big, and they missed out on their windows to really punish in this game.
Flandre marking the potential flanks here. 369 has full vision of him though. Flandre's got to be careful. An early dominance pop by 369. What? Okay, well, 369, you've generated Fury. The dominance is not going to get any other
Generated
value.
Fury in a few other places too. I think his teammates might have generated a bit of Fury from that one as well. That's a lot of power off for Renekton. His abilities do scale off Fury quite heavily. No, I don't usually talk about Renekton scaling, but yeah, it's pretty tough to walk in here for Top Esports. I really like the formation that AL has right now, with Hope and Shanks kind of bouncing back and forth. They don't need to pull or risk this Elder. They win out in the poke war. They just need to not have engages. Or not have a clean engage come in against like full top goal.
Oh, they're looking right onto Creme as he steps up. They know that he didn't have flash from the prior siege. And good night to Creme. Anyone's legend, blow him up. And the rest of the Pandas are on the victory march. 369, the last member standing. But he's not going to be enough to defend this base from crumbling.
That was a beautiful engage from AL. Wraps up a 2-1 series for them. Top Esports. I think we honestly saw the best series so far from NaiYou and Fengyue. Even if it's not a win, I actually can see some positives taken away from this series for Top Esports. But AL, better team on the deck.
369, one last Hail Mary just to try and clear the wave, but anyone's legend are going to push on anyway. Fengyue back from the grave, gets sent back to it just as quickly. The Nexus turrets fall, and anyone's legend will take the series 2-1 against Top Esports.
You know what? Coming into the day, we thought it was going to be a 2-0 for AL. And I do think the top, again, showed a couple moments that were better than what we've seen out of them so far this split. I know they dropped to 1-4, but we had this team power ranked at the bottom of Group Ascend. And we were really frustrated, like, frankly, with the lack of direction that we saw from this team. We saw the best series from NaiYou and Fengyue so far. And JiaQi had a couple good moments again in Game 2. So I think for me, I can take positives away from this series as top. And for AL, frankly, I thought Kael had a brilliant Game 3. I really like the draft they had in Game 3, and frankly, the drafts throughout the majority of the day for AL. So AL, you know, this is a team that we expect to be towards the top 4 LPL standings. May not see it yet in Group Ascend. We still feel like JDG and BOG are playing better league at the moment. But AL had some positives today, too.
I think in the long run, there's some hope for NaiYou and Fengyue, because this is going to be the permanent part of this roster as the season progresses. And once JiaQi returns, like we said, we're not trying to speak ill about JiaQi and his performances, and the fact that he has put up some numbers in previous games and previous series is quite commendable. But I think the best that JiaQi can really do is just market himself so that other teams that are struggling and their problem point is their ADC, that JiaQi puts himself on the market to step in for those teams later on, because it's pretty hard to say you deserve a spot over JiaQi when he has been top esports' star franchise player now since, what, 2020? And I like, unless JiaQi single-handedly brings top esports not only to a title win in this split, but also to a first stand win, like, you have to move mountains in order to take JiaQi's spot, even if he were ready to play again. So
I don't think it's happening.
Yeah,
it's JiaQi. Let's be real. And I mean, not only is it JiaQi, but also he's been on this team forever. And I mean, seeing this team without Cubby and JiaQi, we talked a lot about the struggles that top esports have faced without two of their linchpins they've had for the last few years within this roster. And yeah, I think that we're still seeing some of those emerge, and I'm still frustrated at times with 369 and Creme, who, again, I feel like as the ones who did play on those teams with those players should have maybe retained more and been able to help the new guys coming in as well. But NaiYou and Fengyue, I mean, these guys were the ones that were playing well in LDL. They were winning all-pro accolades, and in NaiYou's case, an MVP. And we actually saw, I think, the first moments for me of them really syncing up, making plays, making good plays on the Rift that top esports could do stuff with. That's a good sign. So I know that for top, it's still kind of a grim scenario they're in right now, but I can take real positives away for them with that.
I think pulling out of Viego is a great sign of confidence and trust from the team to believe in you to carry. And the way that they were playing some of those early mid-game skirmishes was to the effect of getting this Viego snowballing. And I was ready to ride that train with them. I think just unfortunate things in terms of macro sequences and the trades that they made were just not smart. Or
I think they got so distracted by the snake with boots, they forgot about the dragon. That's at least my conclusion.
Maybe. I think one of the things that I can take away from going further into the second round robin, now that anyone's legend will finish the first round 3-2, is that we are still expecting them to be one of our top 3 teams in the group, but they still have some things to figure out. And I know that Tarzan doesn't always play like he did in Game 2, but that can't be, that needs to be more of a, once every 20 games, not a once every, well, how many is this so far? 5, like once every 15 games. Does that make sense? Like, if
yeah. I feel like it's kind of always been the thing with Tarzan, though, and I'm taking the good with the bad. I'm taking all the good with the bad with him. He is still one of the best players we have in this league.
Sure.
And it might have been a slow start to this one, but was able to bounce back, had a very sound engage at the end with Kael. And for me, I think this is a Kael pog. I don't think he's going to get it, but I really thought that Kael was the playmaker, the fight winner, the one that had all the setup available in the fights that were very important for AL to win in that game. So really good performance from Kael. I know that we've talked a lot about supports that are going to try and move up the rankings. I think that pound for pound, I've talked a lot about how when our LPL teams go up against the LCK teams, it feels like support is the role that's gapped the hardest. And Kael was the one support that, of course, I mean, he had to come over from LCK, but last year, I felt like he was the best performing support we had in the LPL all year. So to see him really show up and play his game here, I know that we've had some members of the team be a little bit down on Kael so far this year. I think mostly I've just been up on, as On's been having a fantastic start to the year so far.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been great. But yeah, I think that for Kael, like having the game that he had today, this is a very good one. I know this is the only fight for me that he really flubbed. The rest he played fantastic.
Yeah. I think the battle for top support this split gets to be very intriguing because obviously On has had an insane start, but Kael is still up there with him and still pulls out really, really strong performances. But with JDG's recent win with off of BLG, I think Vampire is starting to push himself.
I can't
Listen,
do it yet, man. I can't do it.
I understand.
It's Kael. On's been hot. So for me, Kael's the best player. On's been hot. Vampire is an up-and-comer. I still am on the Jouet over Vampire train, but Vampire's been off to a really good start so far this year too with JDG. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
I've been watching more of the comms.
Jouet's not been as good
JDG.
as I was hoping so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching more of the comms videos with JDG on their YouTube channel, and Vampire is extremely vocal, and that's always a plus for me. If a lot of the engages that they're fighting is really strong, and Vampire's the one that's kind of like leading the shot calling, that's a plus in my book.
I think it definitely helps though that like the built-in synergy they have in terms of mid jungle. I feel like early on in the season makes your life a little bit easier as a supporter like other pieces. And Vampire's incorporated well into that. So I don't want to take credit away from him. Just interested that as things scale and go throughout the season, if he can like continue to grow or just keep this performance up that we've seen so far. But I mean, of course, with Kael, he's with the same 5. This guy I felt like was the best support that we had in the league last year. And for me, he was the pog for me in this game 3. We'll see if he gets it or if it goes to Flandre or someone else. But good look from him. And AL, you know, I don't want to say a bit of a scare. We thought this would be a 2-0. I think some real positives to take away for top esports, and I didn't really learn anything new about AL so far. I still have the same concerns for them, where I think against the top teams, I need Flandre and Hope to play a little bit better than what we're seeing right now. This team wants to be that #1 team that we have in the league again, like they were for the majority of last year.
Yeah, this is definitely more of a, this is interesting for top esports now that NaiYou and Fengyue are syncing up better and finding some solid early game performances if they get the ball rolling, or just at least some nice responses around objective setups. But I believe, Cubby, we might be waiting a while to see player of the game and player of the series, because usually what happens is there's an interview at the end of these series.
I mean, so if I was a moderator team behind us, I would have gotten us off the broadcast already. We should have been off a long time ago. So if we need to make the switch now, that's fine.
Yeah.
We've overstayed our welcome tonight, guys.
Chat, if you never see us again, just want you all to know it's been a blast being on the LPL English.
Diego's was in lore, mine was out of pocket. All right, it's fine.
Oh boy. Well, sometimes this is the chaos that happens late at night, especially
anything
over
is possible
on our
in
side
the
of
LPL. You know, we had
anything is possible.
You had to send that one too.
Yep. Well, that concludes our first series of the night between Anyone's Legend and Top Esports, with the Pandas being victorious. But we're going to send it over to a break. When we come back, we got a caster swap. Yanni and Rude Dude coming in for our Weibo Gaming versus JDG series. Don't miss it.